We might be already decorated for Christmas here, but we've got Thanksgiving first. So for this episode, we're going to be doing a versus episode with Turkey Day. 2 Turkey Days episodes. Simmer down. Let's get started.
Kick it.
Welcome to Splat Attack Podcast, a 90s podcast honoring the slime-filled past. I am your stuffing-eating, okra-loving host, Jorde.
And I'm your resident Thanksgiving fan, Manny.
And I'm your turkey-craving meat man, Alex. And guys, it looks like the holidays are in full swing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's times like these that I lay back and I watch my favorite Thanksgiving TV specials.
Yes, but which TV specials?
And ironically, that's what we're deciding right here on this versus battle. Kenan Kel versus Boy Meets World. Ironically, both titled Turkey Day.
Tuckery Day.
Turkey! I swear I thought turkeys could fly.
I think they changed the name to Turkey. What is the new name of Turkey now? Turkey? They got a new name for that.
Did they really do that?
Yeah, they changed the name of Turkey. They're independent now or something. It's like Turkey. What's
happening out there? Oh my god. Turkey.
They're not even Canadian.
No, they're not.
Turkey, eh?
Turkey, eh?
Yeah, you like some gravy and some dressing, eh?
But yes, for this episode, we are going to have a versus discussing both Turkey Day episodes of Boy Meets World and Kenan Kel. Manny, you kind of jumped into the sitcom scene a little later, especially 90s sitcoms.
Yeah.
Boy Meets World, I don't think we've ever really talked Boy Meets World with you. Is that one that you have checked out fairly recently?
It was. Actually, Heather introduced me to that show back in 2017. She's like, you haven't seen this show? It's great! So, yeah, we watched the whole series and watched the episode that we're talking about today, in fact. And wow, it really was a great show. I didn't even know Fred Savage had a brother. So
I didn't know Ben Savage had a brother.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, I'm very familiar with Fred Savage. I mean, really, a lot of people are, but Ben, I didn't realize he was part of that family. But turns out, watching more movies with him and everything, he made appearances on The Wonder Years, and I just saw Little Monsters. He's on that as well. Yeah. So it's like, my God, they both work together. It's amazing. And I loved it. The whole Mr. Feeney dynamic too.
Mr. Feeney's great.
Oh my God, he's such a great character.
Kit. He's the voice of Kit.
And that was another surprise too. I didn't know that. The other thing too is like it's a neat little trivia fact too. He played I think Thomas Jefferson for like a play or something, and the reason why the school is named Thomas Jefferson Elementary is because of that.
Oh, wow! Okay.
That's kind of a neat little thing I learned.
I didn't even know that. That's coming in with some lore, Manny.
Crazy. But altogether, a really nice show, and I think people should definitely check it out because even though it was in the 90s, I consider it pretty timeless. Anybody could watch this show again.
Yeah. Ben Savage's performance and Sean. Who's the actor that plays Sean? What's
Ryder Strong?
Yes, yeah. Their performances, even the Corey's brother. I mean, everything. The cast is great, and they all do such a good job. But yeah, they're standout cast. Topanga.
They all love these characters so much. Like they all do a podcast now all together. So it's like they all hang out. I know there is some falling outs that they've had in recent years, but the remainder of the cast, they all still stick together. In fact, recently on Dancing with the Stars, Topanga and Mr. Feeney made a reunion for a recent episode. So that's really kind of cool.
Now, Jorde, did you watch this when it was airing back in the 90s?
I imagine I must have had to have watched it. I watched like all of Boy Meets World as it ran. So through the 90s up into the 2000s. It's classic show. It was part of the ABC block. And then, gosh, where else? I know it played. Did it play somewhere else? I felt like it played
Disney
somewhere
Channel.
else. Disney Channel as well. That's right. Yeah, later on in 2000s on Disney Channel they'd air it. Gosh, it was a journey. I mean, that was like one of my first shows with like a romance arc that I actually followed all the way through. Right, with Corey and Topanga. So I felt it, every time they had like their breakups or their breaks or the tension, in the early years before they actually before they got together, and then they do. And then
there was a love triangle too.
Yeah, there's got love triangles going off and on. And then they go to college, and man, does that show just get so depressing when they go to college. It is hard to watch it. And as a kid, I was like, as a child, I'm having nostalgia for the early beginnings of Boy Meets World. And I'm like, gosh, it was a lot happier and better of a show. It's just once they go to college, it's just the stress, and it doesn't make any sense, like trying to cross section all of their lives together anymore, where you had like their house, the Corey Matthews house, you had the school. You leave that all behind. And Feeney's at the college. It doesn't make any damn sense.
The show kind of changed a few times too, because the first season alone was like just your standard sitcom. And then season 2 started to branch out into a little bit more of a dramatic thing. But then when Mr. Turner showed up, it feels like they were trying to get the 20-somethings interested in this show by having him be like kind of a main character, but kind of not. But then it's like that didn't work out, so they went back to just focusing on the kids. So it's kind of neat. And they did a fourth wall episode, which is
kid gets
amazing.
Acquainted with universe.
I love that episode too, and especially the Minkus joke too, where it's like, I was just in the other part of the school, over there.
I was over there.
Love that joke so much. So I feel like it's a good, well-rounded show that can make fun of itself too.
Yeah, I wish it would have had a good ending. The ending of the show just it just fizzles out. It's one of those shows that fizzles out. It should have ended sooner. Should have ended before they went to college. Personal opinion. Could have ended on a high note. Yeah, a little bit after they get married is okay, but yeah, it's just if they get married so young, it's crazy how young. As a kid, it didn't feel super young because I was a kid, but man, it's like as an adult, it's like it's a young marriage.
Yeah,
and there was that show was like, it was a big show for me, especially with like Sean's poverty stuff, and like he was just such a good actor and stuff. It was like so convincing. So yeah, it was one of my big shows growing up watching it. That's why I'm like, I don't remember if I watched this particular episode, but I probably did. And I just probably forgot about it. And I'll talk about why I probably forgot about it in a little bit when we start to talk about these.
Now, I mentioned it in our Boy Meets World episode. It was not a show that I grew up watching. I don't know. I just never got around to watching it for some reason. And I don't think anyone really in my circle watched it a lot. So I didn't hear much about it until I started dating Megan. And then I was asking her, what are some of the shows that you watched when you grew up? And she went on and on about Boy Meets World, and then her friends were talking about, oh my gosh, and they start sharing quotes, and I'm going, what are you guys talking? I mean, I know you're talking the show, but none of this is ringing a bell for me, obviously. and
what did you call me?
I got her the whole series on DVD, and she showed it to me, and I fell in love with it just as much as she did, and thought it was fantastic. And kind of sad that I missed the boat when it was going on at the time, but as far as Kenan and Kel goes, I think all three of us are pretty much in the same boat with that, where we all were watching that as it was premiering.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course.
And this episode, the Turkey Day episode, we'll get to that, but I think it's a pretty fun one. Obviously, hello, Kenan and Kel here. But
I don't have Ben Savage behind me, unfortunately.
He's on the shelf back there, over there. He's on the other side.
Over there.
Yeah, he's over there. Yeah.
But for this episode, I am going to be defending Turkey Day, and Jorde is going to be defending Turkey Day, and Manny is going to be the judge for Turkey Day versus Turkey Day. So I hope you guys know what I'm talking about. I will be defending the Kenan and Kel episode. Jorde is going to be defending the Boy Meets World episode, and Manny is going to be judging for us. But This is a versus episode. We're not supposed to be in here. We got to go to the boxing ring. So
let's go.
Let's get this versus started. All right, Mr. Manny, you are going to be our judge. What are the 5 categories?
The 5 categories are going to be story, main characters, use of Thanksgiving theme, memorable moments, and finally, lasting appeal.
And basic show info for anyone that is interested. The Turkey Day for Kenan Kel. This was season 2, episode 2, or 11, depending on where you're looking, because there's really no set define when this episode came out.
Nickelodeon shows, yeah.
The original air date for this was November 19th, 1997. Was written by Alex Reed, Kevin Coppolo, and Heath Seifert. And for the Turkey Day Boy Meets World episode, this was season 4, episode 10. The original air date for this was November 22nd, 1996, pretty much a year apart. Written by Susan Estelle Jensen.
Okay, so everything has to start at the beginning, so I would think let's start with story.
We're starting off with Boy Meets World Turkey Day. So it's Thanksgiving break, and Corey and Sean have a nice idea to have each other's parents meet Thanksgiving dinner together. Both sets of parents aren't really looking forward to this due to both families being in 2 different classes, financially speaking. There are a few misunderstandings, from awkward conversations, not feeling welcome, to figuring out which cheeses to use. Through it all, it's all about family and found family. They find out there is always a seat at their table.
So yeah, this was like my first time revisiting this episode in a while too, because like I said, watched the whole series, but that was a couple of years ago, and I didn't realize like how real some of this felt. Like I've totally been in that time where you go visit a friend, or a friend visits you, and you two are in different financial classes, and sometimes your parents or people that you know, maybe friends too, some of them, they feel like they look down upon you or whatever with the stuff you have or some of the stuff you don't have, and it could be a really awkward situation. But I feel like Sean and Corey, they both pretty much had the right idea, which is just, who cares about the stuff you have, and who cares who cares if they have more stuff or less stuff. You're my friend, and this is pretty much what I care about. It shouldn't be about the things and the financial things. It should really be about the found family, which is the whole message of the episode.
Yeah. Jorde, what do you think makes this episode stand out among the other Boy Meets World episodes?
Well, yeah, so I'm defending this episode, right? So what makes it stand out? I mean, there's a lot of things. So we'll start with the story aspects of it. We get to explore a little bit more into Sean's life and his relationship with his family, kind of where he lives, which is a big part of his character throughout the Boy Meets World story. It comes up in multitudes of different ways. His relationship with his home life, like the kind of background he kind of comes from. So this is one of the episodes where we kind of get to see on the other side of the fence, I guess, where we get to see outside of the Matthews house and see kind of how Sean's living and what it's like at his place and his relationship with his family, which in a lot of ways, is different than Corey's relationship with his parents. So I like it from that aspect. It kind of stands out. We get to see a little bit more. It's not as strong as some of the other episodes where we do explore Sean's family life. They get a lot more emotional. But this is pretty early on in season 3. So, they don't want to get too deep into things quite yet with him being so young. But yeah, it's the other thing I think I would say I like about the episode is just the actor that plays Sean's dad. I always love him. And anything he's in, he's a great character.
I love him too.
So yeah,
I love his voice.
Yes, he's got a classic voice. It always reminds me of Ernest.
Is this where the horror movie folk be? Well, I hope y'all enjoyed your dinner, and thanks for coming. And well, let's do this again next year at some neutral third-party Air Force base.
With Vern.
I've never put that together. Yeah, it's that 15 packs of cigarettes a day voice.
Yeah, exactly.
I like to think that the Home Improvement world is the same world as there, because he's like the same character on Home Improvement. Yeah, it's crazy. And Sean was in an episode of Home Improvement. So.
Sean is. He's in the Halloween episode.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. We just wrapped up Halloween. But yeah, so outside of those, and I know I'm supposed to defend the episode, but there are some weak points with it. And I would say probably the weakest point of the episode is the inciting reason why the episode starts, which is that they decide to celebrate Thanksgiving together, not because they're friends and not because they're longtime, friends that should, connect their family, but because they want to eat stuffing.
What I'm getting at is that we both have stuffing together.
But it's Thanksgiving. I gotta be with my family.
Well, me too. Don't you see that's perfect?
And
yeah, it's kind of dumb.
No way to share the stuffing without both consuming it at the same time with both their families. So they convinced both their families to have Thanksgiving together, reluctantly at first, over stuffing, which just seems like, and to the point where they have a turkey and stuffing at the beginning, and they both don't want the turkey. I'm like, that's like $60 of a turkey, but they're like, oh, the stuffing. I'm like, it's like a $5 box of stuffing. You can trade the turkey and buy 5 more boxes of stuffing if you really love stuffing so much.
It was a different time back then, so yeah, who knows? Maybe before
also,
inflation.
just like a loose turkey that they just like Feeney has in the classroom.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that a processed pre-cooked turkey, or is it just raw turkey that's been
I'd like to hope that it's cooked.
Here's a raw turkey. Take this home. 10-pound bird, wet and sopping, covered in salmonella. Take it to your next class.
Iodine, really? Sometimes.
Yeah, some iodine, some nice smelly iodine. But yeah, that's kind of the standout parts of the episode to me. And one thing I didn't like about the episode particularly was basically the big problem. There's like the trailer park issue where the residents of the trailer park aren't welcoming to outsiders, obviously a parallel to the story of Christopher Columbus and the Native Americans and the Pilgrims and all of that mythology that was made up. So with that, it's trying to parallel that with outsiders and inclusionary stuff and being standoff at first, but it's just really hard to believe that like Corey's parents, who normally are giving like sound advice and are pretty reasonable people, are all of a sudden like, oh, we're too good to be around Sean's family. It's a classic. And they even acknowledge it. Like, you could be right. You still can't change people's minds. I'm like, what is going on with your parents today, Corey?
Being right is not necessarily enough to change the way people feel.
Out of character for how his parents are. I mean, they're not angels and saints, and they definitely have moments where they fail, but that's just crazy to be like your family friends that you've known and had over after all, you can't go over for Thanksgiving for 1 year because they're poor, I guess.
Because of like, plot holes, really? So,
yeah, because they couldn't find the whole episode feels a little forced, like they're trying to make this thing happen and they couldn't really find good pieces. I just feel like there was probably a better reason for Corey and Sean to celebrate Thanksgiving together if they were going to bring this up. And
yeah, they could have. I mean, it's a very easy fix to be honest, because they could have very easily had maybe Eric. Or or maybe Sean was upset that he doesn't really have a big family, so can't have a big Thanksgiving dinner. And then they have the idea, what if we put both of our families together? And I'm sure the Matthews would have been all for it, but then the Hunters would have been, oh no, I don't want, because I might be embarrassed because of having somebody a higher class over at my place. And you can still have some of that conflict, but not so much, not so forced. And now now it's, and you could even have the different class. You could have the people from the trailer park going, we don't want them here. They're not welcome here. You could still keep that, and that also add to why I don't want you here. In addition to me being embarrassed, but now I'm kind of in a situation I didn't want to be in, and as often as Corey Matthews is all about forcing his opinion on people throughout the entire series, he could have very easily persuaded his family to, let's go anyway. And they would have, well, okay, I don't really see anything wrong with this because we've known Sean for years. And so there was a pretty easy workaround. I mean, they had a layup with what they could do for the setup instead of just stuffing and then the Matthews acting very out of character.
It was weird. Was there a writer's strike going on at this time? I don't know if we look into that because
I don't think so.
It was.
I think it was just an easy plot for them to write and just an easy
just got
trope.
more convoluted as it went. I felt like with the trailer park having come together. Like it's a funny thing with the trailer park having like taken this oath and talking about it like, you know, them founding America and stuff. But I get they're trying to make the parallels, but it just gets really confusing when you try to think about that as like a real trailer park where they're like, how do you ensure that everybody's of exactly the same financial means and you never feel jealous of each other? And
I found it very strange.
The wise elder that comes out.
Like that was. I love the creativity, but it's just like, ugh,
it's just disjointed a little bit of like, yeah. And but the best part, standout part of the entire episode is the Unters. That is the funniest thing to me. I don't know why the Unters says our name right there. Where's the confusion? Well, naturally, we assumed that the H fell off. Oh, and if so, a letter falls off, I wouldn't replace it.
There are some good moments, but we'll talk more about that when we get to memorable moments. But that is a good one.
But all in all, that kind of wraps up my standout things with the story, a little bit of my gripes with the story with Turkey Day from Boy Meets World.
All right, Alex.
Well, for Kenan Kel, it also is Thanksgiving and all through the Rockmore house. And Roger is making a turkey that he is very proud of, has spent a lot of time working on it. But Roger and Cheryl have to step out for a few hours, and Kenan and Kel are set with the task to get the table all set up for the family that's coming over to visit. And Kel notices the turkey rusting on the counter. And in true Kel fashion, he can't help himself and ends up devouring the entire thing in a matter of minutes. Panicked, Kenan and Kel try everything possible to replace this turkey without the aunt and uncle and grandma and grandpa on the other side of the house knowing, and without mom and dad finding out before they get home. Unfortunately, the entire plan quite literally blows up in their faces. And that is the very, very basic rundown for the episode without going through a play-by-play, which I'm sure we'll add to in just a bit.
This is definitely a classic of mine. I remember when this came out and recorded this, and I watched it over and over and over again because it was such a crazy episode. In my humble opinion, I think season 2 of Kenan and Kel is a perfect season. I don't think there's really any issues with that season at all. And this is definitely the icing on the cake. I loved this episode. 1, because I love Thanksgiving. It's my favorite holiday. And 2, just Kenan and Kel going through so much issues with just this basic idea over a turkey, getting live turkeys, getting an uncle who is just obsessed with eating. That's all he cares about. That's the only reason why he went there. and just all the issues and stress that Kenan and Kel have, especially like even Kel just like knowing, pointing out on the phone book, it says Braziers, and Kenan just
no, look, it says Braziers. Yeah.
Everything hits on all cylinders on this. I absolutely love this episode, especially the very end, which you can't get this on sitcoms anymore. It's a single shot of Kel completely messing up this kitchen. I absolutely love it. It's amazing.
Yeah, what makes this episode stand out among the other Kenan and Kel episodes, because I mean this is full Kenan and Kel, ridiculous slapstick humor kicked up to 11. It is one of the peak moments. Like, I would have this up there with the I put the screw in the tuna episodes. But the reason for that is because it's Thanksgiving. You have the family on the other side, which again we'll talk about, but you have Uncle Remus, or whatever his name is, the entire time talking about turkey and turning everything into being about turkey. You have the half-baked, sometimes literal ideas on how they can possibly get the turkey. It's a very simple setup. It's ridiculous, but that's on par with the show, because they have several things that would never really physically be possible. It's all that humor. It's 100% all that humor, just for the sake of having a laugh, and it works for this type of a show. Sometimes a very simple setup is what you need. I mean, there was an episode, heaven forbid, on Bill Cosby, the Cosby Show, where all he wanted to do was just sit down and read the newspaper quietly, but every single room he goes into, people were making noise, and it was a different situation. He would just go to another room and there was somebody else making a, and the whole premise is just, I want quiet. And this is a very simple premise. Oh no, I ruined the turkey. We need to replace this turkey before Mom and Dad get back. And then nothing, absolutely nothing goes right. And just following the full palpable chemistry between these two lead actors, and hold on for the ride. I will say, in response to the previous Turkey Day episode, the Boy Meets World episode, having seen the whole series once, I didn't remember the Turkey Day episode. I didn't remember it at all. I did ask Megan, hey, we're going to be doing a Boy Meets World episode. Take a wild guess. And she was like, I don't know. Well, it's almost we're in November. Oh, well, I guess you're doing the episode about when they go to have Thanksgiving over at the trailer park. Like, so she remember, but again, she's the diehard
She's a fan.
Yeah.
I was a passerby for the first run through, and I remembered several episodes. I did not remember this one, but the Turkey Day episode for Kenan and Kel, I remembered that one because I remembered him scarfing the turkey. I remembered him having the stupid clearly fake turkey on his hand where he's smashing it and all the dumb things. I forgot about the uncle, but I remember.
How did you forget about the uncle?
I don't think I resonated with him at first.
Right. Yeah.
I resonate him with as an adult for sure.
Yeah. I'm here for the food.
Yeah. But I was really happy because we watched these together, Megan and I, and I don't think we laughed a single time during Boy Meets World. The two very, very different reactions.
That's the thing. It's two different shows.
They're two very different shows. So Boy Meets World, going back to that for just a sec, since we're still talking about story, after the episode was done, Megan had made a comment, and I wholeheartedly agree. As forced as the inciting incident was, by the end of it, they're talking about things that my parents taught me. Taught me not to. Right? Yeah, heart at the end of the episode, and the moment when Mr. Feeney had Sean read his paper out to the class and actually gave him an A+, and he can't help but smile at that. Especially Sean being completely surprised, as so was Mr. Feeney, and the heart that you got from it. Like, oh, this is a really sweet.
And Corey is like, "There's always room at our table." Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got the heart to it, which Boy Meets World does well. They're really good at like resonating with the heart and emotion strings.
I don't think we laughed out loud a single time in that episode, but we did enjoy the episode. We felt very happy by the end of it. Whereas the Kenan and Kel episode, we're cracking up laughing. And I was really, really happy that I was thinking, I don't know how Meg is going to take to this, because it's been forever since she has watched Kenan and Kel with me. And then every time the uncle opened his mouth, she's laughing. And at one point I said, that's me. And Megan was going, you are 100% right, because when I get hungry, that's me. I turn everything.
You're not that rude.
It depends on how hungry I get, because when I start getting hungry, it's no, I don't care. Give me my food now. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, everything stops. Give me my food, and then all the ridiculous humor, because I would play goofy characters in children's church just to make the kids laugh, and it was very much in the style of Kel completely tearing the one man tornado that is Kel Rockmore. It's a great. It was a fun episode. So you have one that is very pulls for the heartstrings, and one that's completely improbable but is going for the laughs, and both succeed with their intended genres, I guess you could say. Themes. Both their different themes. It just depends on what you're looking for. But whereas I think Boy Meets World was a little more convoluted and out of character for a lot of their characters, Kenan and Kel's,
just to put this plot in.
Kenan and Kel's was right in sync with the rest of their show.
Yeah. Right in step with everything they would normally do. Doesn't feel out of place at all.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's so funny. I mean, it's got the practical, like pratfall style stuff. You have like the orange soda, which you always have to have in a Kenan and Kel episode.
Yeah.
I think
in a
probably
bottle,
one of my
too.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite parts. We'll get to when we get to the memorable parts, but oh my god, there's so many. It's good. It's a good episode. It's a standout Thanksgiving episode all around. If you had to make a compilation of like best 90s Thanksgiving episodes, I would definitely put this on there. Whereas I may or may not have the Boy Meets World on there.
All right, the next topic is going to be main characters.
So our main characters, we've got Corey, of course. We've got Sean, who are going to be our two titular sides of the Thanksgiving table. And then we have all of Corey's family, from his sister, his brother, his mom, and his dad. And then we have all of Sean's family. So Sean's mom, Sean's dad, and Sean. Well, I guess not all of it, because Sean has a brother that's not there.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really get brought up, because I don't know if that character was intended to exist yet at this point.
That character was not written in the show at that point.
Yeah.
But technically he would have a brother that just doesn't get mentioned and maybe doesn't exist yet. So all of the currently existing family of Sean up to season 3 is there. And then we have, oh my God, I can't get into all the characters, but then we have, the elder of the park. I can't remember his name. It was something obscure and random. I think it started with an H.
Yeah, Old Man Harold or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And then there was, of course, the very memorable Mr. Hunter, who lives next door to the Hunters. And I
thought was Dan Castellaneta at first.
Oh my God,
yes.
He kind of looks like him. Kind of does look like him. And then we have Mr. Feeney, in the typical Boy Meets World cast at the very beginning of the episode. We do the classroom beginning piece and end piece. And that covers most of our characters. The main players in this episode. Oh, I almost forgot. Somewhat kind of notable characters. The
Herbert.
sons.
His name was Herbert.
I was right. It started with an H. Herbert's the children. Was it the children of Unter or Herbert? I'm trying to remember. I think they were Unter's kids.
At the very end?
Yes, his two sons.
I think it might have been.
They were the Stachinos.
The Stachinos. Okay. Third family altogether. A lot of families in this trailer park. Anyway, so they have the two of them, which one of them, I remember him from something. I'm trying to remember what I remember him from.
You talking about Frankie, the big guy?
Yes.
I know him from Remember the Titans.
Was he also in Beetleborgs, or am I remembering things incorrectly? Was he not in Beetleborgs? I'm trying to remember.
I'm checking right now.
I know I remember him in something else. Maybe
I remember him in Butterfly Effect.
Yes, he is in Butterfly Effect. Yeah.
He's a goth dude.
Yeah, you're right. I almost forgot.
But yeah, I love his character. He is so well spoken, and I love his little brother. That was adorable.
Yeah, I love the joke of them both being well spoken, and the hoodoos and the
tutus, I think.
The hoothus and the titus or the titus.
Something like that.
I can't get it right. I'm on the spot. It's two things. Everybody apparently knows this except for Sean, Corey, and me.
Yeah.
So
well, I didn't know either.
He was not.
Joke cracks me up.
He was not in Big Bad Beetleborgs. He was in Dogma.
Dogma. That's what it is. It's Dogma. Why did I think it was Beetleborgs for some reason? I got my brains all over the place.
They're a dog or a beetle.
He's in Dogma.
A dog beetle.
And may or may not be in Evolution. I can't remember if that was him in Evolution. Gosh, yeah, that was Evolution's a great film. We'll talk about it on a different day. But
I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, I recognize him. It was just I'd totally forgotten that he ever shows up in Boy Meets World at all. I guess this is the one time he shows up. But yeah, kind of notable. So that's the full. There's a lot of characters in this episode for some reason, despite not needing them.
Well, they're trying to go with the big Thanksgiving dinner thing, which we'll talk more about in a bit. But to defend Boy Meets World for a bit, I'll jump on your corner for a bit since you. But as far as the main characters, which I think of. Mostly Corey and Sean, which, as silly as the premise to get them together was, I do like those two. I mean, it's hard not to like those two.
Yeah, their chemistry is great.
Even when they're at their worst, you still love the two. But usually they're the ones that are at fault for things that are just falling apart, and they have to learn the lesson. This is kind of the opposite. That's not kind of. It is the opposite. They are really doing the right thing. For a reason that they weren't intending it to be, but they were apologizing to each other for each other's families, and they were being supportive to each other. And like, even at one point they were talking about how they're two very different classes, but this is an instance in when their ignorance has worked in their favor, because they don't really pay attention to that sort of thing, and they're just happy to be friends. And that example is being set to by their parents, and they're like, oh man, I feel terrible. But they weren't doing that to prove a point, because they didn't know the parents were watching and seeing the situation. So while they got this put together and the family was getting frustrated with the other family, they were the anchor for this episode and trying to rein in, come on guys, can't we just try? And
we all just get along.
Yeah, which is a very rare thing for those two characters.
It's out of character for them too.
And there are a few instances in which they're like, man, I mean, they do have a lot of heart. They frequently have a lot of heart, especially in the later seasons, albeit very misplaced, and it ends up backfiring at some point on them. But this is kind of in character with them going, hey, let's do this half-brained idea. But at the center of it, it's still the two of them who knows what I'm doing is right. Because, again, that's Corey Matthews. He does that a lot. It just happens to be the families surrounding them that are very different for their normal characters.
Yeah, supporting characters could have used a lot more work. But yeah, I mean, anytime you got Corey and Sean, I mean, both actors are strong, so they always bring a great performance. And then, you know, as far as the writing of those characters, it's pretty spot on with like how they would act. Yeah, and it's just like the weird warped world that they're in at the moment that makes them seem like this higher moralistic thing. Not saying that they're corrupt morally or anything normally, but yeah, it's just in order for them to be the speakers of truth, they had to bring down all the other characters around them to this lower level, which very strange. But yeah.
All right, Alex.
I don't really have a whole lot to share as far as the main characters in Kenan Kel goes, because it's Kenan Kel. I had made the point in talking about the story that this is right in step with their normal banter. So there's not a whole lot of heart involved, but a whole lot of turkey involved. One giant stomach that can not be matched in sitcoms. It's mostly just Kenan and Kel being amplified versions of themselves, and Kenan with his ridiculous half-brained ideas of how to solve a problem, Kel doing all the physical humor and being ignorant to what's going on, and as Manny had pointed out earlier, it says braziers, like completely oblivious.
Pointless things.
Completely oblivious until he realizes the hot water he's in, and then it's like, I'm moving to Australia because your dad's not in Australia.
Again, Australia. Ever been to Australia? Me neither. So, again with that.
So there's nothing unique as far as the characters go, like there was in the Boy Meets World episode for this. But there is still that peak Kenan and Kel performance that makes the episode so much fun. Without these two characters and their strong personalities, very different personalities, this episode would not have worked. So while it's nothing unique, it's still essential in what makes the episode go off without a hitch.
Perfect. All right. So the next one is the use of Thanksgiving.
The theme of Thanksgiving in this episode. I mean, it's very prominently focused. I mean, it's like they're trying to do, which I feel like is one of like the two main types of, I guess, stereotypical Thanksgiving stories you can do, is either like replicate the events of the first Thanksgiving, or have like what Kenan Kel does, which is like, oh no, the turkey, something's happened to the turkey, right? Like the turkey problem. Like those are the two main plots for Thanksgiving stories. I think I can't even think of another one off the top of my head that doesn't involve one of those two types of narratives.
It's very famous. It's a famous issue.
Yeah, it's either lose the turkey or we're recreating the events of, the first Thanksgiving.
Unless you're Friends, in which case they have found many different storylines to do.
That's true. Friends has a bunch of weird stuff with their Thanksgiving episodes are like a whole tradition at a certain point.
They are.
So
we just talked about
those.
them.
Yeah,
last year.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's recreating the events, like I said, of the first Thanksgiving, and they do that by trying to parallel the trailer park with, I guess, the middle class society that Corey's family is from, and they try to kind of establish that as like, I guess, the originator, the founder, the colonizer of this trailer park. Found some empty lot on the side of an overpass and decided like this looks good for trailer, and they had trailers and they filled it. They decided that everyone that's going to live in this trailer park should be equal and be of the same means and the same economy and the same income. And so apparently that's like just a rule that they've established in this very specific community, and they don't want anybody from the outside to come in, which I guess is supposed to be the Native Americans in this story, but I don't know if that's quite an accurate telling of what happened with the Native Americans. I don't know if it was just they didn't want anybody else coming in. I think it was more like somebody was already there and they kind of took all your stuff. But anyways, the Matthews family goes to the wrong house, and that's how the rest of the neighborhood finds out that the Matthews family is in the trailer park visiting Sean's family. And then we just kind of progress into this very, like we've talked about before, like out of character thing where at first Corey's parents are kind of okay with it. Like both the parents' families have to be convinced to do this Thanksgiving, and they do it. And then all of a sudden, kind of like out of nowhere, Corey's parents just decide to be like, oh no, we don't want to be here. We shouldn't have to waste our Thanksgiving in a place like this. And then Corey's brother starts saying it, and it's just like, it's very
I got a
strange.
cab to catch or something
It's like we all
that.
got something better to do. I'm like, yeah, right. You have something better to do on Thanksgiving. But then, it's like you would have been just spending time with your family anyway. So it's not like you had anything else that you probably would have been doing if you weren't doing this. So that's the gist
I know what
of
they
it.
wanted to do. Alan wanted to watch the football game.
Yeah, watch the football game, right?
Which you can't do at the trailer park. I mean, I'm just saying,
you get your Watchmen out, man. Carry your Watchmen around and watch it
they
on
have
there.
those. They have the rabbit ears, man. The reception would not be very good.
Oh, just get really, really long, rapid ears so you can get extra good signal. That's what I would
You
have
can
done.
still see the score. It's like, just like,
Or just turn the radio on because they play sports scores on the radio.
Manny, did you just attack the desk?
Punch the desk,
Got
karate
me
chop
again.
it.
Don't worry about it.
I worry.
go.
I worry immensely.
Sorry.
Worried about that desk.
Yeah. So, and then at the end, they have their squabblings in the middle, and then at the end, Corey goes with Sean over to the elder's house to try to, make things better. And when they do that, they run into a group of younger people from the trailer park, and then they decide that they'll sit down and eat a meal together. And while they're talking with each other and eating together, the older generation peers in from over their shoulder and sees how that their kids can all get along, and they feel like that they should join in and put their differences aside. Once again, kind of confused with the Thanksgiving narrative with that, because that's not really how the Thanksgiving story works. It wasn't like the younger English and the younger Native Americans got along better and convinced the elders to get along. I don't know. I guess they're just trying to work this in how they can with the different dynamics of age groups. But in the end, they all sit down together, they decide it's okay, and then we end up back at the school. So I guess it tries to work in the Thanksgiving theme. It's definitely Thanksgiving, and they bring it up all the time, and you do get kind of some of those, classic Thanksgiving things of going over to somebody else's house and having to get, oriented with the way their life is. But outside of that, I wouldn't say it gets too deeply involved with the Thanksgiving story outside of like a usable template to kind of tell a more, I don't know. It's not a Boy Meets World type plot. It's just his own weird kind of plot that they tried to make. It's emotional, ties in with family. But yeah, I think that's the usage of it. It could have been better. Like we talked about, they could have made a better reason for them to join. They could have focused more on family rather than stuffing.
I really think they also try to make it a little deeper too, because once Mr. Unter and the other one too, we're looking at the kids eating at the kid table. Mm-hmm. They were like, they wanted to join, but then they were like, no, we're not going to join them. Yeah. So it was still a mixed feeling that they try to convey too. Mm-hmm. At least I feel.
Yeah, it absolutely was trying to be a telling of the classic Thanksgiving story, with two very different classes, obviously, and acceptance and compromise, and while playing homage to Thanksgiving dinner, just the dinner itself, all the different things. I mean, here I have all these other things because I have all this money, so I have a much better spread. And I have cheese. So you have two different styles. First, obviously the two different classes, but you also have two different types of Thanksgiving meals, and then the
sangria,
and
which sounds freaking awesome, by the way.
And the tradition of sitting down at the table and everyone's saying something that they're thankful for, which Frankie Stechino does at the end of the episode, and Alan wanting to, after they're done eating, go sit down and watch the football game, which a lot of families also do. So there's a little bit of the play also on just turkey, not very much, but just the fact that they're all sitting down trying to arrange to have a Thanksgiving dinner, which, I mean, you could even play that up for if you're married and this is the first time that you're getting your family and the in-laws together, and this might be a bit awkward for everybody, and everyone's trying to find a way to get it to work. So there's still some relatability in there, but the some of the tropes are there.
Alex,
Yeah.
use of Thanksgiving theme.
Everyone has that one lady who has a mustache in their family.
They sure do. They sure do.
That's not entirely true, but we do have those relatives that come over to the house that you see once a year, usually around Thanksgiving, and especially as a kid, it seems like everyone loves these people, but you don't really get it. That's kind of here, especially with the uncle, who may be an absolutely wonderful person once he's got some turkey in him. I would love to see what he was like afterwards.
Post-turkey. Yeah.
Post-turkey. Is he much more likable then, or is he always just this grumpy man?
I
The world may never know.
I actually think he is, because right at the very beginning, before the whole turkey talk even happens, Grandma Molly says, "You've grown a foot since the last time I saw you." And Raymond says, "No, she hasn't. She had 2 feet the last time you saw her. She has 2 feet now."
No, she hasn't. She had 2 feet the last time you saw her, and she's got 2 feet now.
But I mean, you have the in-laws and the extended family, not really the in-laws, but the extended family that would come over, and it seems like the kids love Grandpa Raymond, and they're happy that he's there. So there's got to be something with him being okay, just outside of being hungry all the time. In addition to that, you have the family that loves to hug and kiss on you, and you don't want them to hug and kiss on you for whatever that reason may be, usually because they're hairy and gross and you don't want their lips on your face.
Personal space.
Yeah, personal space.
My personal space.
And then, of course, the big thing for the episode is the turkey, because they're trying to find ways to replace said turkey. So it's all about the turkey dinner. Yes, you have the family coming over, but you also have oh no, I've ruined the food and I have to come up with something last minute on Thanksgiving with every place being closed and having no time to prep for anything, because that happens. It doesn't happen. I mean, we don't hear about it as often. It's not the traditional thing, but that is a trope that we do see in television shows. I mean, again, including Friends, when, you know, the trifle episode.
Yeah, the trifle.
They're trying to make this thing, and oh no, I've completely ruined it. And that is what happened with this, where I've ruined the dinner, and now he's trying to go everywhere. But every place is closed, and then there's misunderstandings and all that stuff. But as far as the Thanksgiving goes, it's just all about the dinner and having family over for the dinner. The Rockmore parents leave at the beginning to go to the hospital, I believe, to go visit a family member.
Their ham is all puffy.
Yeah, which doesn't really tie into Thanksgiving, and I don't really see why they would leave on Thanksgiving Day to go to the hospital to go see this person. But
turkey needs to be unattended.
Turkey needs to be unattended. They need a plot device for those. So, okay, you're leaving on Thanksgiving. It's got to be for a good reason. How about?
It's also a running joke. She is referenced quite regularly because she's been puffy, so it's a regular reference at least.
But that's really it as far as Thanksgiving references go within this episode.
So the next category is memorable moments. Jorde, memorable moments.
All right. Well, I think I've already covered a lot of these ones throughout, so I'll keep it quick. But I mean, the Mr. Hunter joke, it's so funny to me. The Hunters, that there's a neighbor right next to the Hunters. The whole setup with that joke is just so funny. They go to the house. Are you guys lost? You're in the wrong place. Like, oh, we're looking for the Hunter's house. We just assumed it was this house because it says Hunters. Maybe the H fell off. He's like, well, it's not. And it's like, well, can you show us where it is? And it's the house right next door. So there's just a man named Hunters that lives right next to the Hunters. It's very funny. I don't know why. It cracks me up. It's one of those really specific jokes that's just you wouldn't expect to show up, and then it shows up and it just cracks you up. And then, you know, just like some of the cameos for, I guess not cameos, but some of the characters, like actors I've seen in other stuff. It's always nice to see their faces return. Like I said, Sean's dad and that one, I can't remember his name, the Spicoli.
Come on, Spicoli, just put the shirts back on.
I mean, outside of that, I mean, just, you know, Ben Savage is fun. Sean's always fun. Yeah. And we don't get to see so much of Corey's brother, who's one of my favorite characters in the show. And then the Feeney stuff is funny as well at the beginning. And I will say the thing with the canned food drive, Sean doing like the canned food drive racket.
Yeah.
He donates the food and then he gets it. Then and it repeats in the cycle and they give it to him. And then, it's very funny.
My family gives them to the food bank gives them to my family gives them back to the food bank. It's life in the food bank chain.
So yeah, those are probably my most memorable moments from it. As far as like emotional, like resonance and stuff, Boy Meets World has way more emotionally resonant episodes that cover way deeper emotional concepts. So this isn't really one of the standout episodes for that. But it has got some funny jokes in it. And if you've got to fill out an ABC Thanksgiving lineup for the day, why not throw this one in there?
Mm-hmm. And to add to that, the moment where Frankie Sticcone brings his or whatever I pronounce the name. I said it right earlier. When he shows up with his Spicoli, when he shows up with his little brother, and the little brother is asking Morgan out on a date. I really liked that moment.
That was cute.
A little cute moment with them. Yeah,
I've always loved the way Frankie talks. I mean, he was kind of the muscle for the bully throughout the first couple of seasons, and then he's turned into something far more than just the muscle. So when he does show up, it's kind of special. But I did really love the moment when he shows up. I would like to talk to you about a dating situation for your daughter. And Alan turns around, call the police.
Out of respect, I come to you, the father of young Morgan Matthews, to discuss, shall we say, a dating situation. Amy, call the cops.
And he's like, no, I don't mean for me. And then pulls his little brother is here on the side. And I thought that was really, and he talks the same way as Frank. Like the whole family is almost Shakespearean. And it's really great. I love that moment. And of course, the whole ending when they're all, there's always room at our table. I liked that too. And Sean getting an A+.
Yeah. It's always nice when Sean does well in school. I tried this time. I really tried.
So, Alex, memorable moments.
Everything that Uncle Raymond says. Everything.
Yeah.
I mean, before the episode even started, Manny and I were quoting as soon as we jumped on the call, and we just kept going with the lines.
We quote that all the time.
I want some turkey. This non-stick karate, chop me a turkey sandwich.
Where's the turkey? I want some turkey.
Do you want me to show you some karate moves?
Yeah, why don't you karate chop me a turkey sandwich? If I weren't so hungry, I'd clap. I didn't come here to yap. I came here to eat some turkey.
Hey, Uncle Raymond, how are you?
Hungry. Is the turkey ready? Be very comfortable when I get some turkey in my gut.
Oh, by the way, this is Kel.
Is he a turkey? But if I don't get some turkey soon, I'm leaving this dump. I'm so hungry, I'm starting to hear turkey.
Name something people take with them to the beach.
Turkey?
The first thing you buy in a supermarket.
Turkey.
A food often stuffed.
Turkey.
Going along that for just a moment. Also, while that's taking place, Grandma is asleep snoring on the couch, which is also kind of funny. But the thing that got me the most, and it was at the end, because he has now got the turkey on his hand and he's tearing the kitchen up. He goes into the living room and Uncle Raymond is trying to pick pieces of the turkey off
to eat it
while he's still trying to get the turkey off his hand. And then when he runs past the couch, it's a blink and you miss it. When he runs past the couch with the turkey hand, punches the grandma in the back of the head and she falls over. It's so funny. And then, of course, the Rockmores enter, goes, what's going on in my kitchen and in my living room? And that turkey flies off his hand. Yeah. The turkey flies off of Kel's hand and makes a punch sound like Indiana Jones, Indiana Jones theater punch. That's a funny moment.
So good. Yeah.
The real turkey's walking down the stairs.
The microwave in the oven to increase the time is very funny and clever to me. That's
the build-up, just the build-up of Kel looking at the turkey, and you know what's going to happen.
Walk by. Yep.
The exaggerated expressions, the twitching lips, and just the tiny little touch that a little bigger taste, and then rips the whole leg off. And I like
tries to put it back.
And I love how at one point he just almost hypnotically leans to the side, grabs the chair, and pulls it over and sits down. Oh, it's on, and then just devours the whole thing. That whole segment, it was 100% perfect Kel performance. But there's a lot of very, very funny moments. The Rigby parts were just okay, but you do have all the classic lines for Kenan Kel in here. Kel screaming, "Why? Why?" The "Who loves orange soda?"
Who loves orange soda?
And oh no, here we go.
Oh, there they go.
Oh, the orange soda part's so funny. It's like after already so much has happened.
Yeah, they finally resolved it. And
they have a turkey, and then it's like, oh, an orange soda. It's like, oh, here we go.
And like I said, even Heather was going to be here, but when we were watching the episode, as soon as like the bottle cap went in there, Heather was like, just leave it. So it's like...
But I mean, even the very beginning, whenever it's the two of them talking to the audience and breaking the fourth wall, and Kel accidentally smears the camera with a peanut butter sandwich. And he can't talk because his mouth is full of peanut butter. That whole
I love that.
And I'm there. And I was going to say, it's very good to be the
There's so many funny moments in that episode.
I mean, even Chris, I'm sorry, I love Chris in the show, and he has just a certain way of speaking. Like, you got gravy all over my trousers. You got gravy all over my trousers! Oh. And why am I all so eggy? Oh, I'm all eggy! I just love the way he speaks. It just makes me laugh so much.
I did really love the line, "Why are you so patattered?"
Patattered.
Why are your clothes all betattered?
Betattered.
Like, why would you use that word? And they mock that. I even said that out loud with them. Like, they had to have had just a dictionary writing his lines of how many of these ridiculous words can we throw in here.
I just love it. So good.
But that's it for memorable moments for me.
All right. And finally, we have lasting appeal. Jorde.
So lasting appeal. Like I said, it's not the, most standout Boy Meets World episode, but if you're trying to fill out, like I said, an ABC lineup for Thanksgiving, definitely add this one in there. It's not bad by any means. It's not a bore to get through it. It's a solid episode. It's just, in comparison, I think, to something like the Kenan Kel episode, that really delivers a lot on the comedy, which is the strong point of Kenan and Kel versus emotional stuff usually being the strong point for Boy Meets World. It's not so. I mean, still good, still a funny show. All the actors do a great job. This isn't some late season rot episode. It's just season 3, so it's still good, still classic. Everyone's young and fun and having a good time still. Definitely you can return to watch it. Throw it on for Thanksgiving time. No harm done.
Nice. All right, Alex, lasting appeal.
It's stupid fun. It really, really is. And there's so much that takes place during Thanksgiving anyway that sometimes you just want dumb fun. And there really isn't anything about this episode that really dates it, to be honest. They don't have any technology or class and all that stuff, and how things have changed over the course of time, or the way we look at.
My one note on that is if I was their parents, I would have like a Ring doorbell camera at my house to watch that turkey. I was going to leave it alone. with Kel because I would not trust him.
Yes.
But everything else about it, I mean, the comedy alone is still good. Like, kids still find this funny. My boys would lose it if they watched this episode.
They didn't see
that
it?
part with the turkey is just so hard not to laugh.
No, we haven't watched the show together yet. We watched this last night after the boys went to bed, so that way I could focus on what I'm trying to watch and not have them in my ear. But I know they would both love this episode because of how ridiculous and fun and honestly very simple it is. Whereas if I showed this, or if I showed Boy Meets World to both of my boys, Sam would get into it pretty well, my 11-year-old, but my youngest, the 5-year-old, would probably get lost because it's not funny and not something that he can relate to. But again, he's 5. It's not quite his age.
Yeah, when they start talking about good wine and box wine, you might lose the 5-year-old.
But the ridiculous slapstick humor and the goofy, over-the-top performances, which works on all ages if you like that type of humor, because Megan and I were cackling. The adults were cackling. I know the children would cackle, and it's a very simple premise, and just go in there and have a good time and watch the mayhem.
Well, looks like things are getting rather heated. Let's take a break and come back with the answers after this.
Welcome, everybody. I'm getting ready for Thanksgiving, and I thought I would make my own turkey. I'll just get my settings here and get the door open here. Oh, no! We'll be back with more Splat Attack Podcast.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of Splat Attack. If you're enjoying this episode, please hit the like button, subscribe, make sure to hit the notification bell to never miss what we are up to next. If you are listening on a podcast app, please leave us a review. Any star is appreciated. These small acts will help others find us. Thank you, and we love you.
Want more gravy for your Splat Attack appetite? Head over to patreon.com/Splat Attack. We have exclusive mini episodes every Friday, some featuring our lovely Splat Attack crew. Not only that, Slime streams twice a month, early access, and bonus footage. If you're interested, head over to patreon.com/Splat Attack.
You want to look your best for Thanksgiving dinner? Hop on down to bonfire.com/store/Splat Attack store with hyphens in between to get all the really cool Splat Attack shirts that'll be a great conversation piece. Who doesn't like to say, hey, I remember that? That address again is bonfire.com/store/Splat Attack store with hyphens in between.
You ever tell yourself to just believe, and you will? Because next time, we are talking about our top 5 favorite Santas. You can catch all the retro-rific holiday cheer right here on Splat Attack.
Help! Anybody please help me!
Oh no, Splat Stanley!
Oh, welcome back to more Splat Attack Podcast.
Welcome back to the episode. Let's see what these two defenders have to say about their episodes.
Well, I say that we've pretty much said our piece. Why don't we go ahead and, before we start our reviews, why don't you go ahead and give us your verdicts on which one you think has won each category?
Okay. So, for story, they're both very, very interestingly different stories. So with Kenan and Kel being mainly like a slapstick, funny, simple premise, I'm going to give it to the Boy Meets World episode, because it has a little bit more layers. Sure, it is a little disjointed at times, but altogether, I feel like it would give the most broad appeal to a much bigger audience as well. So that's why that one gets that one.
I am surprised by that verdict, and I am defending Boy Meets World, so.
For main characters, I just love both sets because each and every one of them brings so much, even if they're on camera for just a little while or the whole time. So I'm going to give this one to both.
Yeah, they are dynamic duos. It's really hard to choose. Kenan and Kel and Corey and Sean are like...
It's really tough. It really is.
A good wine and a good cheese, or a good box wine and a good... whatever she was going to put in there with it. It's like umbrellas and stuff. Little pastel umbrellas.
And man, this is tough too because both of them actually had really great Thanksgiving themes. Because really, you could look at the Kenan and Kel episode and it just shows Thanksgiving throughout the whole thing. I mean, even, again, I'm going to reference Rigby's again. Even that one scene, that whole store was decorated for just 5 seconds of screen time. So that alone shows really great effort. Not to mention, it's like having just a farmer guy deliver 2 turkeys. It's like, even then, he's like, oh, you better get to it then. So I absolutely love that joke. It's hilarious. But I mean, Boy Meets World 2, depending on where you're looking at it or whatever, it still spells out Thanksgiving throughout the whole episode as well. Begins with going to school before break and then going, like, even outside the trailer park, it looks like it's a nice fall night. So I'm going to give this one a tie as well. Give it to both for the Thanksgiving theme.
Whoop, whoop.
And memorable moments. I'm going to do my best not to be biased on this because I'm more familiar with the Kenan and Kel one than the Boy Meets World one. So, but that having been said, Kenan and Kel and Boy Meets World both have great memorable situations, especially like with all the convoluted craziness of Kenan and Kel that previously we all mentioned, and Boy Meets World with its really heartwarming moments as well. I did really love what's his name? Alex, what's his name again? Stepapino? No,
Frankie.
Spicoli.
Frankie.
Frankie Spicoli.
Yes, Frankie Spicoli. I love Frankie Spicoli, and I love his little brother. In fact, that little date that he wanted to take Corey's little sister, just to invite her just to eat pumpkin pie, but she ended up eating the whole dinner too. But still, I found that so sweet. And definitely the dynamic of the trailer park being against newcomers. I didn't necessarily agree with that, but I saw, well, while Jorde was explaining, I saw where the writers were going with this whole deal, but I feel like it didn't work. I feel like it didn't work because I've been to many trailer parks in my life, and a lot of them are very welcoming. There is no segregation to any of those, at least the ones that I've been to. So I found that a little... but then again, I know why. It's for TV, so you have to amplify things like this. So for memorable moments, I'm going to give it to Boy Meets World for this. So,
okay.
For lasting appeal, I'm going to give it to both. Like I said a million times already, I love the Kenan and Kel episode, but the Boy Meets World one, I feel like that can air at any time. It could even air tomorrow or whatever. It could just last at any time because we have this relationship with our friends and our newfound family and found family and friends as well. So I'm going to give it to both as a tie.
Well, that leaves a score of 5-3, with the winner being Boy Meets World. Congratulations.
Sounds like Boy Meets World won. Which surprises me. I'm surprised here. I thought for sure going into this that Kenan and Kel was going to win.
Well, I mean, going into it too, since this is like technically my second time judging, so it was very new for me, but I wanted to look at this in a non-biased form, and I wanted to give my true opinion on it.
Yeah, no, I think you have a fair point as far as like the heart and emotion stuff that Boy Meets World gives. You know, it does lend to a more significant revelation at the end of the story, whereas at the end of Kenan and Kel, you're exactly where you started, where they're both chaotic masters of disaster.
I'm not throwing shade on Kenan and Kel either. I love both of these. They're just unfortunately both very different Thanksgiving episodes.
And that's part of why we like to do these episodes, these versus episodes, because there's a handful. I mean, there are several times, and not even a handful, through the history of Splat Attack where we've taken 2 episodes and we have one that we very clearly watch the most and we enjoy the most and probably still would watch more. But when we try to analyze it under 5 criteria and really objectively say, okay, based on these criteria, which show has done these things the best? And this happens to be an instance in which we love the Kenan and Kel episode, but the Boy Meets World episode, based on these criteria, is okay. There's a lot more here, so that's interesting. It's not the first time it's happened. It's happened several times on the show where the underdog has stood up, and it's pretty cool.
Maverick.
But let's give a very quick rating for these episodes before we go to our segment. I will go ahead and jump in here without having to get into a lot of detail. The Boy Meets World episode I thought was a very good episode. Personally, I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was very sweet, but it wasn't one of their more standout episodes, even after watching it. But it was well-meaning, and I loved the ending. I got a bug that's flying around in here, so I keep swatting away at nothing. But I'm going to give
spells.
Yeah. I am going to give the Boy Meets World episode a B. Jorde, what do you rate Boy Meets World?
Funny enough, I also would rate this for much of the same reasons. I mean, it's a good enough episode. It doesn't fail at anything. It's not boring, but it's like emotionally speaking, you know, Boy Meets World gets a lot more serious at other points. So yeah, I think a B is a fair, reasonable rating for it. So I'm going to give it a B as well.
Manny?
And after watching it probably for maybe the 2nd or 3rd time, it was a bit forgettable at times as well. I will agree with you on that. But I did love the heart. I love the story, and it being about Thanksgiving as well. I am also gonna give it a B. I'm sorry.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
The BBB, we're the Better Business Bureau.
But as far as Kenan and Kel goes, this particular episode is a standout. And I really, really like this episode. I'm going to put this up in the S tier for Kenan and Kel. I'm actually going to give it a double S. I really, really love this episode. There's very little about this episode that I do not like. And if I'm going to share a Kenan and Kel episode with somebody, it will either be The Tainting of the Screw or Turkey Day. Like, it's going to be up there with one of those two.
I'm gonna have to say an S for this one. I won't go as far as a double S because there's some really good episodes of Kenan and Kel, particularly when they go to Hollywood and some other ones that I really like. So I'll put this at an S though. It's a really strong one. It's really funny. That the turkey scene always gets me, where they're throwing the turkey around, and then that last scene where the turkey flies and hits Dad in the head. It's just so funny to me. So catches me off guard every time, makes me laugh. So yeah, S. I'm gonna give it this one an S.
Dang. So this was going to be very close because knowing me, I would totally give it a triple S, but the only reason why I will not was because some of the jokes didn't work, especially the very last one with the turkey boxing gloves. I thought that was kind of dumb. But altogether, like I said, I've been watching this episode since it came out. So this is probably over 20 something years of watching this over and over again.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget this episode. It's definitely one of my top 5 favorite Kenan and Kels. So I'm going to give this a double S. I consider it a very perfect episode to go along with a perfect season. If you want a perfect season, watch season 2 of Kenan and Kel. Ain't no stinkers on that one.
Well, that is going to be it as far as the versus portion goes. But we do have our segment for the episode. So, Splat Stanley, what is our segment for the episode?
This Thanksgiving, I am thankful for all of you slimesters. Oh, too much pumpkin pie and cranberries.
Rename Game is the segment that we're doing.
Alrighty, you guys heard the stick. It is going to be Rename Game, which is a game that we usually play for the Versus episodes. And it's very simple. If we had to rename these episodes, which let's face it, we really should, they're both called Turkey Day.
Those are placeholder names. They never changed before they ran the TV guide. You can tell. They're just like, Turkey Day, just call it Turkey Day. Did we get a name for this episode?
It's just called Turkey Day.
They get so clever with Boy Meets World with names on some of the episodes, too.
Kenan Kel, too.
Yeah, it's true. They had to have been placeholder names that they just
didn't have time for.
Yeah, sent it to the TV guide early or something to get the slot.
But as far as renaming these episodes, I know earlier Manny was struggling trying to think of some names. So, Manny, what was you only thought of a name for one of them? Which one was it?
I got both. But
yeah, both. Okay,
they're really not good because I was literally writing them as we were recording this.
That's okay. Let's go ahead and go with the Kenan Kel Turkey Day. What would you rename that?
I'm gonna call it Turkey Karate Chop.
Karate chop me up a turkey sandwich.
I'm so hungry, I'm starting to hear turkeys.
Oh, yes. Jorde, what about you?
If I had to rename the Kenan Kel episode, let's see. I would say No Turkey Left Behind.
Ooh,
that's a good one.
Yeah.
If I was to rename the Kenan Kel Turkey Day episode, I would call it Gobbled Up.
Okay.
Oh, wow. I like it.
As for the Boy Meets World Turkey Day, Manny, what do you got?
Always have a seat at our table.
Straightforward.
That's a good one. Oh, dang.
Jorde, you got one?
You go, and then I'll come back around to me. I'll have
one. The one I had for the Boy Meets World episode is Trailer Turkey Dinner.
Okay.
Fairly straightforward also.
Dang, okay.
All right. What do you got?
I'm on the spot now.
Frankie's Manifesto.
I'm gonna say. Okay, I got it. I figured it out. This is great. I'm glad I let it sit. A Tale of Two Turkeys.
There you go. There you
go.
Was
good title.
That's
a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's going to be up to you, Slimesters. Among these 6, pick which 2 titles you like the best for the Boy Meets World and the Kenan Kel episode. Type it down below in the comments and tell us what your favorites were. But we do have, for the end of our episode, a closing question, and in true Splat Attack fashion, we were bantering before the episode, which has presented a fantastic question that Jorde gave to us previously. So I'm going to throw this question here in our closing question. What is the worst thing that you have had for Thanksgiving? Write to us via email at splatattack2021@gmail.com. DM us on all of our socials. Just look for Splat Attack Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Clickety-click, the little button right below. Interact with us wherever you can. We're always happy to hear from you. But until next time, guys, will you help me close the studio, please? I'm working with Pete's to see about installing a new security camera to catch the real Santa Claus when he passes by.
Aye, co-captain. That seems like an idea that may or may not pan out, but best of luck to you.
Why?
Because Santa is more like a feeling, that no camera can catch.
All right. But when I see him, you'll be eating those words. So until next time, Slimesters. We'll splat you later.
Splat you later.
Splat you later.
This episode was recorded at Splat Attack Studios and Virtual Home Studios, though none in Florida.